I think humans just have a really natural ability to want to connect with the world and find out new things. So what makes me curious is just being a human being. Everything is interesting to me. I want to be able to know things, and I think that's just part of what being curious is. I was really inspired by Chemo Courage when my godmother first found out her diagnosis of breast cancer, and something that made me really curious about it was I was an 8-year-old. I didn't know that much about cancer other than it's really detrimental to somebody, and I've seen how people have overcome cancer, but I also seen the dark side of it when they're going through cancer treatment. And so that really sparked me to get curious and start learning about diets when undergoing chemotherapy treatment, because that's something your doctor really never discusses with you. So I ran with the message of eating for recovery, and I started getting interested in about vegetables and fruits, because I was always told as a little girl, you know, when you're growing up and you eat these foods, you're gonna grow up to be big and strong. And so I made that connection of being healthy. And so when I started researching it, I actually found out that eating these foods raw was really not good for you, because of the enzymes in your stomach when you're undergoing chemotherapy treatment, they get killed. It's like a forest fire, it just kills all the good and the bad cells. But if you eat the cooked vegetables, your stomach can still digest them. I ended up doing all these surveys that I sent out to the hospitals, and I got them back asking, you know, what type of cancer do you have? What kind of cravings are you having? And I actually found that fish was something that people craved and still tasted the same even when undergoing treatment. So I did a little follow-up about that 2 years later in my 5th grade, which ended up winning the science fair a second time, which was actually really cool to say. So I did find out that because of the omega-3s in salmon is cell growth, that when people ate salmon, it really made them feel better and it helped relieve that nausea because they were getting that cell growth back in their body. Both science fair wins actually led to 2 publications in Parkville, Missouri in National Resource Guide magazine, which is a medical magazine up in Missouri. But since then, I've been able to partner with Cancer Services of New Mexico just from the natural bonds that I was able to make with the science fair. I'm also partnered along with several organizations across the state of New Mexico, from Children's Miracle Network, Shriners Children's Hospital, the American Heart Association, and the New Mexico Cancer Center. So just from all these organizations, and really just starting with the science fair, I have really been able to spread my message of eating for recovery. As an 8-year-old, when I first started the science fair, I never even would have imagined that I would have gotten this far. It has been almost 9 years later, and I am still working with my message. My trademark for Chemo Courage actually just originated as a pink breast cancer ribbon, just because that's where it started with my godmother with her breast cancer diagnosis. Since then, I still include the pink into my new logo, which is now an infinity sign. But something that I have also included with the Chemo Courage logo is actually a little purple stanza at the end. Purple is actually the recognition of cancer survivors. And because Chemo Courage really stands for having that courage when undergoing chemotherapy treatment, I thought it was important to have that little shed of light at the end of it as well. Something that has been really cool for me since it's been trademarked is this organization named Ride the Battle came into Albuquerque, my hometown, and I was really able to talk with them about my message and about my story. And something that was really special to me was my godmother got to film it with me. Seeing how far it's just come just from that one single person, her inspiration, I know it's helped so many people across the state of New Mexico, so it's not even about the trademark that makes it special to me. It's when people tell me that I've changed their lives that have really made that impact on me. I would have to say I'm most involved with Cancer Services of New Mexico. It was the first organization that I partnered with after I did a putt-putt fundraiser that I just solely did by myself. And so since then, I've been really able to just get involved with them. I've put cancer bags together for families who are going to break the news to their family about having cancer. But most importantly, and above everything that I've probably ever done, the health fairs that I've been able to do with them every fall and every spring for the past 3 years has just really touched my heart. When you're first hit with that news that you're diagnosed with cancer, the first thing that you have to do is get a support system. You have your family, you have your friends, but one thing that's really important, I think, would be to get an advocate, because when you're hit with that kind of news, you can't process it. You're essentially staring death in the face and you're trying to overcome it, and it's your new reality. And it's one of those things where you don't realize it's going to ever happen to you until it actually does. I know that when my godmother was diagnosed with breast cancer, my family ended up setting a support system for her where one person each day would go and check on her. And so I think it's really important to make those connections with your family and those who are near you to be able to really latch onto them, because it's going to be really important. I think if Chemo Courage didn't exist, I don't know where those people that would have been in my life right now. I mean, my godmother, I'm confident that she would have overcome her nasty battle, because I just believe that's kind of the fighter she is. But for the other people that I may or may have not encountered, I don't know where they would be, and that's really scary for me to say, and all these connections that I've made just throughout my organizations that I've been able to help, I don't know where those kids would be either, and it's really heartbreaking to think that I wouldn't have those people in my life anymore. So even though cancer is something that's very scary and very detrimental, without Chemo Courage and without being able to help these cancer patients, I don't even know where my life would be right now. Something really special about the mission of Chemo Courage is to eat for recovery, and eating for recovery really allows these patients to feel like they have some control over their treatment. Chemo Courage has always sparked my interest, and just something that's always keeping me curious is seeing how people are still suffering. And when I see that people are still suffering, it just makes me want to help that much more, because I know how my message has changed the lives of others, not even in the state of New Mexico, but it's now even gone abroad. And so I just think that staying curious has been really crucial to Chemo Courage, because there's always more information that I can find out, and there's always more people that I could be helping. I really hope that down the road, Chemo Courage can become a national organization where people can hear the name Chemo Courage and they're going to know exactly what that organization is and what my message stands for. I think it's really important to stay curious, and I really hope that Chemo Courage can always spark some curiosity, not only within me, but cancer patients across the nation as well.